What's up, everyone? My name is Alan, founder and consultant at For Now Marketing, and welcome back to Braze for Technical Marketers. Today, let's talk about the different action-based triggers that Braze offers. There are many triggers that are very widely used. Some of them are what I call the go-to triggers, but there's actually quite a few different options, and I'd love to go over each one of them, talk about the use cases, and just read more about them in our documentations. Let's get started. So here I am on a brand new campaign. I'm on scheduled delivery, action based, and then if you look at the drop down, there are quite a few options. You won't be able to see the drop down from my screen share, but I'll just go over each of them individually. And I also have the Braze documentation page open for action based delivery, and they list out all the different options and the sub options for each of them here. So you can actually see it all in nice one page on the Braze documentation page. The first one we have on the list is make purchase. So if you are logging purchase events in Braze, then you can trigger a campaign based on a user making any purchase. So for all purchases, we can trigger this, maybe like an order confirmation, or make a specific purchase. Could be very related to maybe like special promotions for that specific purchase, or certain purchase requires additional or different types of notices, so that you could even choose the product. We don't have any products in our dashboard quite yet, unfortunately, but we can definitely add some more products to make this demo more realistic. But yeah, you can choose specific or make any purchase. Next one we have is start session, also a very common trigger that Braze users are using, but we could log a campaign for starting a session in any app. So whether that's your website, app, Android app, iOS app, it does not matter which app, any app will trigger this campaign versus starting session in a specific app. So let's say we only want this campaign to go off when the user visits our website. Then you can specify which app. And a Braze dashboard, for a lot of mobile app brands, plus that also have websites, they'll have multiple apps within your dashboard. If you go to settings and app settings, you'll see all the different apps you have. So this is what we mean by specific apps. The next one is perform custom event. And these three that we covered are probably covers 97 or 98 or 99% of all users, all use cases. But if you want to trigger a campaign based on a custom event, then this is the way to do it. We had some tutorials earlier based on membership started, and you can actually even add custom event property filters. So membership started where membership tier is equal to silver or gold, for example. So performing custom event is one of the most common ways of triggering a Braze campaign, and it gives us this type of flexibility. Next, we have perform conversion event. And I will say I've actually never seen any team use this trigger, but not that being said, not to say that it's not a useful trigger. So if you go and add trigger, it says perform this campaign's primary conversion event. So when you're launching this campaign, you can come to assign conversions, and there are 4 conversions you can set, but it looks like this campaign is looking for whether this primary conversion event has been set. So I'm thinking of a use case where a campaign will be launched, and we're looking for the user to perform the primary conversion event for them to possibly re-enter this campaign. Maybe let's see what happens if I try making that our only thing. So if this is our only conversion event, yeah, it's an interesting one. I can't quite think of a use case for it, but if anyone has used this trigger successfully in the past, please let us know in the comments. Super curious to hear how this was set up. My guess is that this was set up in conjunction with another trigger. Um, Otherwise, I don't quite see how it performs differently than performing a custom event. Whoops, I double clicked the same one. Because all conversion events in Braze, by the way, can be set with custom events. Although one thing to note is that there can be a few other conversion events, like upgrade app. I believe might be one of the only options here that is not available as a custom event here. Yeah, so upgrade app could actually be a great use case for that one. Feels kind of like a hacky solution, but that's definitely a valid solution. Let's cover one more. This is actually one of my favorite triggers. Add an email address. And the add an email address most often serves as a similar custom event as profile created or user created. Because for the most part, among Braze users, when a Braze uh, user profile is created, it comes with an email address. So I use it quite often for new user setups. For every new user profile that gets created, we need to apply some sort of webhook or some sort of logic to it. This is my go to trigger. If you go to the Braze documentation page, they actually have some additional information about the add an email trigger. So let's read through that. With respect to the trigger event for when a user adds an email to their profile, the following rules apply. The trigger event will be fired after the user profile attribute updates. So after the email profile attribute updates, then the trigger will fire. So we know this means that the evaluation of the campaign segments filter will happen after any attribute updates. So it looks like in addition to the email address, Braze will also wait for all the other attribute updates to finalize before sending them down to this campaign, which is triggered by add an email address. This is beneficial because it enables you to set up filters like email address matches gmail.com to create a trigger campaign that only sends to Gmail users and fires as soon as they add their email address. So Braze is saying that they will wait until the attribute is fully logged and updated before sending this campaign, which makes this trigger even more useful because we know for sure that there won't be race conditions or that we'll be sending in users with blank emails. The trigger event will fire when an email address is added to a user profile. Is added to a user profile. If you have multiple user profiles that you create with the same email address, the campaign may fire multiple times, once for each user profile. So every time an email address is added to a user profile, this trigger event will fire. If you have multiple user profiles that you create with the same email address, the campaign may fire multiple times, once for each user profile. So in that case, because every new profile creation is a different instance, and they're not tied to each other, Braze is just saying you may end up firing multiple campaigns. Most likely the case for internal testing, but it is possible that you end up creating your real user's profile multiple times with the same email address. Although that doesn't sound like best practice, it can happen. Then Braze is just letting us know, maybe warning us that campaign may fire multiple times. So we'll end the video here with this thought. One thing that I always wonder is it says Braze will trigger this email address trigger when an email address is added to a user profile. But what happens if it changes? If it changes from one email address to another, then will this still trigger? That's what the next video is going to be about. We will test this trigger, see it in action, and test some different cases. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.